Well, here we are already, Wednesday again. I don't know about you, but for me, this year has just been flying by, and it seems it's always time to record another video. And that being said, the amount of content that we've been putting out this year in this Gospel of Luke, we're only chapter 2, verse 18 and 19 this week. We've been doing this since January. I hope you're enjoying this really deep dive into this gospel that we're taking. I know Jason and I are really enjoying putting these videos out for you. That being said, that fact is going to relate to these verses here in a little bit, but it's just the slowing down mentality I think is so important. The verse says, all who heard the shepherd's story were astonished, but Mary kept all these things in her heart and thought about them often. Well, that part about all who heard the shepherd's story were astonished piggies back nicely off what Jason covered last week about telling the story that we know, that we've experienced to other people. And as I was thinking about this today, I was thinking about the fact that when we do share our stories, that word astonished, some people are going to find our stories unbelievable. And that's okay, because other people are going to find our stories very believable. And that's what spreads the gospel, right? People that believe in a God that can do things that are astonishing, things you and I can't understand, but they're going to know through your testimony, through your word, that these things really happen. And going on to that, Mary was present during this scene in the manger, during Jesus' birth, all that. But this sentence to me seems kind of out of place here. How it says, but Mary kept all these things in her heart and thought about them often. It almost seems like a editorial comment, like a sidebar to this actual story of the birth of Jesus. But then I happen to remember one of those first messages we did on this way back in January was about the fact that this gospel was written by a guy named Luke. And Luke wasn't present at any of this. If you remember, Luke actually talked to all the people that were there, or witnesses, or as many people as he could find that were familiar with this account and what happened. And that made me think, why did he include this sentence about Mary, or this half a sentence about Mary, keeping this stuff in her heart and thinking about it often? There's another, I think in the NIV version, it says pondered. She pondered them often. And pondering is something, man, I've kind of been getting into that. And let's just say we frequently look at God as, what are you doing in my life right now? And kind of puzzled, or what will you do in the future? And just thinking about that kind of stuff. And pondering is also thinking about what he's done. How far has God traveled with me in this journey? What a change he's made, and just what's going on behind that I see these things that, God was there, God was faithful. It says here, it was, in a later verse, it was just as the angel had told him, that frequently we see God doing exactly what he said he's going to do, or what he promised us. But yet when it comes to the future, we have trouble trusting him. And to me, pondering this stuff helps me have a little more confidence in tomorrow. Just knowing that God was there. Think about Mary in this situation. Think about that. What she's saying at this point in this account, Jesus was just born in that dirty, nasty manger. These shepherds, who were just ordinary people, came from nowhere to see this because it was so important in history. And then they saw what they saw, and they went back and they told others. And Mary, now when we say Mary kept all this in her heart and thought about it often, this part of Mary's feeling, experience is actually way later in her life than this moment in this account. Does that make sense? When she told whoever about this that happened way earlier when she was much younger in life, she did it with such an importance that she knew it was an important part of her life, and she was able to look back at that journey and say, man, I remember we didn't have anything. We didn't even have a place to stay. We had this baby. And now look what God did with that. Look how God changed the world with what we thought was nothing. And she could sit there and reflect back and say, wow, maybe I was wrong to feel the way I did in that moment. Maybe I should have trusted her more. Even though we know Mary trusted God very much, we also know she was totally human, and you know she had the same feelings you and I do. And just the fact that she's looking back and remembering what God did in her life. I would encourage you to do that. I know I try to encourage myself to do that. That's kind of what, the season's over. That's what the winter is for me. I sit back and I just think about God's faithfulness. Think about the journey. When you spend the whole summer just going out and spreading the word, during the winter is a great time to dig into the word and let God just speak to you directly. Often we're so busy, we just don't have the time. It's good to just sit back, maybe grab an espresso or a coffee and just read the word and say, God, what are you telling me? And just pondering back on what he's done in our life already. He's so faithful, but we often forget that. With that, I'm just going to let you go, and I hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you next time on Wednesday Wisdom, and we will keep the messages coming. We're going to be in Gospel Loop for quite some time. I hope you're enjoying it. Have a great week.